Chilling tales for dark nights.
The following performance is a second-round entry in the 2017 Evil Idol voice acting competition. Voting is simple. Following the performance, simply click the thumbs up icon on this video if you'd like them to become a member of the team, or the thumbs down if you'd rather they not. Voting on this entry will conclude 1 week after the date of its posting. Good luck to all of our contestants.
Dear Charlie by Mike Raisch. June 26th. I think I might kill myself today. I don't know what else to say in this stupid diary. I'm only writing in it because my mom is making me. She said her psychiatrist told her to keep a diary to spill her emotions or something cheesy like that. She says it helps her. She says a lot of things. Sometimes I don't even know why she speaks at all. So should I shoot myself? A gun would be too hard to get a hold of. I wouldn't even know where to look. Do they sell them to kids on the street? Well, anyway, nothing that I could get a hold of. Maybe I should cut myself and let me bleed out and watch the world fade. A knife would definitely be more attainable. However, then I'd make a bloody mess and I wouldn't want to put my mother through the burden of cleaning up after me even after I'm dead. I could do the old toaster in a bathtub trick. Feel like that would tickle. Rather, how about hanging myself? I have to think about where I'd do that. I'd just wrap a belt around my neck and clip it to the ceiling fan. If I'm feeling ambitious, I could make it look like a murder. Maybe they'd make a TV movie special about my story on Lifetime. I'm going to see the doctor tomorrow. My mother's worried that I might have clinical depression. It wouldn't surprise me, since it runs in the family. She's so overprotective sometimes. Scratch that. All of the time. Whatever. I'll be sure to write it in my dumb diary tomorrow after my doctor visit. That's if I'm not hanging from the rafters by morning. June 27th. I think I might kill myself today. Why not end it all after my mom wasted her money to send me to a doctor? What kind of name is Clementine anyway? Did his ancestors harvest these brightly colored fruits before they became doctors? Well, fittingly, he prescribed me a little orange pill. Another option to kick the bucket. Might as well just shoot the bottle down. It could go one of two ways as I see it. Life will either go pitch black or become clementine orange. This would solve my problem either way, I suppose. I'm going to call you Charlie, because diary is too ordinary. If I'm going to be spilling my heart out to you, you might as well have a name. What's my name? That's not important, because as a book with blank pages, I refuse you the right to know my name. It's my liberty to use your pages, not your pages to use me. So, Charlie, it's time for me to take my first pill. Here I go. Well, nothing yet. There's really nothing to report on the pill, or my life, so I'm going to waste some time or nap. Farewell now, Charlie. June 28th. Dear Charlie, I slept all through the night. I can't remember my dreams well, other than that they were pretty messed up. I feel empty right now, as if there is a void in my existence. The air feels thinner and harder to breathe. My hands are like cement blocks trying to write this into your pages. My eyes are sore and my head is plummeting downward as if all the weight is in my face. I did a stupid thing, Charlie. I did a stupid thing. Now, all I can do is wait. The clock and the pen on the paper are the only things I hear. The ticking is slowing and the pen scratching is hastening. I can feel the orange drugs surging through my veins, mixing with my thick, liquid blood. Charlie, my heart is racing. I can feel the throb of every beat in every vessel through my body. I'm beginning to feel as though my hair is growing backwards through my skull. My hand is numbing. The pen is fading. It's getting more difficult to write. I can't. It's blackening. The feeling is overcoming. I'm scared, Charlie. June 29th. Dear Charlie, boy, am I glad to see you. I'm astonished that I woke after that little adventure I told you about. I had a lot, Charlie. There were only 3 pills left in the bottle. How am I going to explain this to my mother? I'll be right back, Charlie. I'm going to go see if my mom is downstairs. There's no point in lying. I'll just tell her the truth. Charlie, you won't believe what I just encountered. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. When I went downstairs to find my mother, I didn't find her, so I thought that maybe she was in the cellar. The lights were off, but they did not illuminate when I tried the switch. I slowly descended through the dark stairwell. The aged wood under my feet cracked with an abnormal sustain. Guiding myself by grazing my fingertips along the cold stone walls, I sneaked towards the dirt and gravel that blanketed the basement floor. I heard a noise in the darkness. I called out for my mother, but there was no answer. I was standing at the bottom of the stairs, pebbles grinding beneath me. The corner seemed desolate and claustrophobic. Ahead of me was the black abyss. I turned to look back up at the faint glow shimmering through the crack on the door at the top of the stairs. Specks of dust captured the beams of light faded towards me. I was considering turning back. Then I heard a shuffle in the shadow. Hello? Is someone there? Mother, is that you? I called out. I still received no response. Frightened and tense, I tiptoed beyond the border of the light and dark. I heard a pair of feet frantically brushing against the dirt briefly. My breath shortened. Another step deeper, and my head strikes a light bulb hanging from the long cord, and it is insanely illuminated, swinging and bobbing around the cord. Frightened that it might give me away to what was in the dark, I stopped the light from swaying and tried to find a way to turn it off. However, in doing so, it flickered off. I let the light bulb hang idle for a moment, stepping back slightly. Then, curious, I flicked it with my finger and it ignited instantaneously, swaying and bobbing about. I stopped it again and the light ceased. I grabbed the light bulb forcefully and threw it intensely away from me as it burst with a radiant glow of white light. Reaching its peak in the throw, it slowed and fell back. Passing me by, it clashed with yet another light bulb that also ignited with white light, and 2 swayed about. Both bulbs changed course from the collision and clanked with 2 more bulbs that lit on impact and began to swing. The clanking seems to have made a melody of sorts, and the bulbs continued to swing and clank with more bulbs that emanated white light on contact. They played me a song, Charlie. It was as if the song was being written for me as the white lights danced in the darkness. The melody was light and free. I embraced every clank that resonated through the cellar. The space before me seems to have grown to an infinite size because the lights were dancing as far as I could see. But there, in the dancing lights, I broke from my trance for a moment, for what I thought was the face of a man walking in the distance. I could only see it for a brief moment when one of the lights raced across his face. The orchestrated light bulbs then began to play a much different tune. The song turned dark and the tempo increased at an alarming pace. Acting quickly on instinct, I darted for the glow of the stairwell, pushing away any lights hindering my escape. They broke off their cords and shattered to the earth floor. The light's dark song grew in volume and speed. The stairs seemed to be moving away from me, but I knew I was running closer to it. The bulbs started to crash to the floor on their own accord. Finally, I slammed into the corner before the stairs. Redirecting myself, I dashed up the old wooden stairs. This time, the boards sounded as if they were breaking beneath my feet as I stomped upon each one. Throwing open the door, I tripped to the floor and rolled onto my back. I saw the same face coming towards me in the beams of light through the door, and I kicked the door shut. Silence, accompanied by my heavy breathing. There was no music. There was nothing. I even choked temporarily to be sure that it was the silence I was hearing. Truly, I tell you, Charlie, this is what I saw. I decided I'm going to bring you everywhere I go from now on. June 30th. Dear Charlie, I haven't heard from Mother, but I also haven't moved from my room because I'm frightened that what I saw was real and dangerous. Also, I need to document that there is a tree in my backyard that I have not seen before. It would have been impossible for me to live here for so many years and not notice a tree that seemed to be growing in the direct center of my yard. Let's check it out, Charlie. I'm approaching the tree now. It's rather breathtaking how stunningly picturesque this tree appears to be. It's so perfect and bright. The sun reflects brilliantly off the golden green influenced earthly leaves. From here, I can see that it has a perfectly spherical orange fruit hanging sparingly around its branch ends. The twisted trunk winds upward to its gorgeous dome crown. Its fruit looks luscious. I'm gonna try and pick one. I reach for the round orange fruit, but the tree makes a slight squealing noise and twists its trunk. Ascending towards the sky, it blocks the sun and shadows draw over me. I look up at its silhouette against the clear, bright blue sky. A long, orange and white pinstriped pant leg protrudes from the right side of the tree and steps next to me. Then, a lengthy arm in a white and orange pinstripe suit coat sleeve, accompanied by a hand of lanky fingers. Another leg and arm tag along after, this time holding a matching white and orange pinstripe cane, finishing off with a shiny silver ball handle. Finally, a man's head popped out, which is also abnormally elongated, topped with a lengthy orange and white pinstriped top hat. This man has to be 13 feet tall at least. He bends down to greet me at eye level. His face was just as fascinating as the whole of him. Every feature in his face was anomalously long and pointed. Even the mustache is freakishly piercing. But his eyes most of all, more than anything I've ever seen, have the sharpest quality beyond what anyone can imagine. They are as perfectly round as the orange fruit that neighbor us. But the stare is so fine that I can isolate the single particle on the black spherical surface where his vision is gazing through, stabbing what I can only describe as my soul. He reaches behind his back. I feel safe. He smiles, and his mustache points upwards into a V. His eyes ignite much like the light bulbs in the basement. Bringing his hands back to the front, his fingers unfold, revealing a singular, most tempting, clementine orange. I clench the fruit in my hands. Its peel glistens in the single beam of sunlight cutting through the tree's branches. I raise the clementine closer to my face to smell the essence of all of its beauty. Its scent alone seems enough to satisfy life. I breathe on it gently, and its coat starts to rip at the top. It unwrapped into 13 equally sized, curly skins, and the clementine broke into 13 perfect slices. The aroma engulfed me so much that it nearly made me forget the rest of everything. I sit under the tree shade, leaning against its twisted trunk, taking all the time in the world to bite slowly into each delicious, juicy, fulfilling slice. It melts in my mouth. The last slice is indulged. I shake myself out of my daze. I am full, but I want another clementine. I climb the trunk, grabbing and stepping onto the contorted bark that's coiling around the tree. I reach for the closest clementine that I can find, and upon reaching it, the tree screams with a thunderous wood-warping sound. I lose my grip on the tree, but the grip on the fruit was hard enough to rip it from the branches. My body thuds and hits the ground. The tree violently shakes and distorts, screaming and squelching, the leaves rustling ferociously above. I crawl backwards on all fours and make my way to my feet. Watching in amazement, the tree rotates counterclockwise. Untwisting itself, it riotously cries, dispersing the remaining fruit viciously all over into numerous ropes of bark and wood, and it explodes into ash when it hits the grass. My head snaps to the right when I see the pinstriped suited man burying his head in his hands and struggling to stand. His legs quivered. His whole upper body starts to sway back and forth, trying to catch air. He starts to vibrate, and his orange stripes begin to bleed into his white. The color, little by little, conquers the empty white spaces. The man stops. He stands before me, still with his hands on his face, but now in a solid, deep orange-colored suit and hat. His hands drop to his sides, but I still can't see his face in the shadow from the rim of his hat. He bends over to greet me at eye level. Slowly, he lifts up his hat so that the light from the setting sun begins to expose his face. First, his chin and lips revealed. Already I feel more on edge. The mustache is absent. His nose is smaller and rounded off. His eyes grow with anticipation. The hat sits higher on his head while his big blue eyes are uncovered. It's the man from the cellar. Shocked and dismayed, I toss the clementine absent-mindedly from my clutch and run to the house. I swing open the screen door, seize the doorknob, and pull all my weight through it. Regaining balance, I head for my room upstairs. I one-handedly palm-smack the door open the rest of the way, turning around and slamming it shut. Hyperventilating and still trying to stand, I lean up against the foot of my bed. I shamble to my window and see if the man in orange is still there. I don't see anything in my yard besides the remains of the clementine tree. Dear Charlie, thank you. Thank you for being here. You've been such a good listener. It's been a little over an hour since I settled in my room to catch my breath. I'd play with a toy if only I had one. Wait. I just heard something downstairs. It sounds like my mother. Let's check. I walk into the kitchen where I see the backside of my mother. The front is occupied with dishwashing. I say softly, "Mother?" She jerks around. To my horror, I notice that her eyes are not there. Her skin stretches across her whole forehead, connecting from the tragus of one ear to the other. It seems as if I've startled her, and as much she did me. "Who is that?" she cries out. "I can't see you." "Mother, it's me," I say. "I can hear you, but where are you?" She wipes her hands dry from her apron. The apron drops down as she lifts her fists. The backs of her hands lay on the spots where her eyes should be. She leans down and flitters her fingers, fanning them like waves, exposing and hiding her palms. "I still don't see you. How do you feel?" "I don't know. I don't feel like anything, Mother." "Then how do you expect me to see you if you feel nothing?" "I can only see what you feel. You're as dark as the night can get, my dear." "What do I do? I can't help it." "Where did I put those pills?" Her fingers blink a few times. "Oh yes, right here." She lowers her left hand to grab them from the countertop. The other hand still seems to be looking around. "Please, dear, take this. There are only 2 left. You had the other under the clementine tree. What a nice man he was." "I don't want to take any more pills." "But once you take these pills, you'll glow a bright orange, and I can see you. Come now, toss those back." She extends her left arm and unrolls her fingers to reveal 2 fluorescent orange pills. I reach out to squeeze them between my fingers. I look up at her queer face. I bring my attention back to my clenching fingers. I pop them both into my mouth and swallow. My eyes expand and I gasp. My mother starts to back away in a strange mechanical doll-like fashion. She screams and her skin begins to crack and fall off. Her scream descends down the scale to a much lower pitch. She thrusts forward and the skin flakes away, completely divulging the ash-covered fingers before me. It shakes and the ash floats to the pearl-colored ceramic tile floor. The tiles disappear under the gray ash. I look up and there stands the man I saw in the basement and by the tree. I stumble. I quickly recover and I sprint up the stairs to my room and close the door. Charlie, I'm scared. The man is just downstairs. Oh no! I can hear him coming up the stairs, Charlie. I don't know what to do. He's at the door. What do you want? I ask him. I can back up closer to the window in case I need an alternate escape. He's not answering me, Charlie. I don't know if I'll be able to tell you the rest of this. I'm afraid something might happen before I get the chance to tell you. Still backing up, I hit the back of my heel on the wall just before the window. He's knocking now. I open the window and I kick out the screen. He's knocking harder. I pull one foot out the window, my leg dangling along the wall. The doorknob, it's moving, rotating slowly, making quiet metal clanking sounds. I sweat. The door unhooks. It creaks open. Wait. I recognize him. He seems so familiar. Those eyes, they feel so familiar. The door taps the adjacent wall and bounces back slightly. His pupils jolt up, meeting with mine. His head rises slightly and then tweaks to one side. He smiles. Now I know who he is. At the speed of sound, he whizzes through my room to my window and seizes my neck with his strong, bony hands.
I could have been your way out.
You loosen your grip. I slip. Goodbye, Charlie. Your friend, Alex. This diary was found at 18:23:33 on June 28th at the scene of the deceased, located in the backyard of the house, just below the second floor window.
Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, don't forget to cast your vote for this contestant via either a thumbs up or thumbs down vote. New entries will be posted throughout July. Be sure to tune in and vote for each of them and help decide who becomes the next evil idol. In the meantime, turn off the lights and turn on the dark.
Chilling tales for dark nights.